Evening Connoisseurs. The past few videos of mine have been positive ravings of a man with video games being IV'd into his system to increase his serotonin levels. For this video, I thought, it's time to change that. So I scoured all 530 plus titles in my collective game library and cross-referenced their metascores. I wanted something legitimately bad, something to make a mockery of. Something that I would not like. Now, while some people might religiously follow the opinions of the Metacritic prophets, I know their archaic methods for scoring games can be somewhat arbitrary, but all the same, it was the easiest way for me to find my crap. I've come away from the search with 2 titles, both scored under a glorious 26%. I'm gonna play Shaq Fu too. So I downloaded the game and was eagerly anticipating playing as the titular basketball player using the whooshy finger hold, or perhaps use what I can only hope to be the drunken fist kung fu methodology, but was stopped in my tracks when I saw another menu option that was, oh, so much more intriguing. Shaq Fu, The Adventures of Dirty Barry. The story. Taking place after his acquisition of the Chaos Emeralds and 2 presidential terms, ex-President Barack Obama, or Barry, takes to the streets as a
100% pure camera.
with a mastery in the 4 natural elements: gun, fist, drone strike, and execution.
Oh man.
There's been a cleansing of celebrity personalities, and with the next Kanye concert in town, he knew who was going to get extinguished next. He heads out and asks a French man for directions to the concert in search of Kanye. The Frenchman, using every inch of his smooth brain, sees a gun hiding within the confines of Obama's trench coat and assumes Barack is out to kill him who he stands. The French boy calls every member of Olive Garden corporate to hit Barry with 3-day-old garlic bread.
He's gonna try and beat me with a breadstick.
The popular eatery is not run by French people, but down on their luck Americans.
You might be thinking, and you're right to think so, but as a self-proclaimed Shaq Fu lore scholar, I've meticulously left out the fact that the Frenchman originated from rural Texas and just knows some basic vocal manipulations and a few lines of poetry in the French language. The lore is oddly extensive, and I've had the unfortunate pleasure of reading all of it. Anyway, Kanye's fashion designer, or whoever it is, comes out of the woodworks and is also confused about why Obama's there. So he summons the genome soldiers of the YouTube makeup community in attack mode, who are swiftly added to the piling bodies disqualified from receiving any more Obamacare.
Gosh.
Obama also comes face to face with a French political figure who I don't know of or care about in real life because, as most Americans can attest, we have too much national-scale political news to fill our heads with anything else. Me personally, I'm still waiting for the anime adaptation of the world news. Alright, but this woman, all I know is the lore says she's a sludge demon from the sewers of Paris, and that's enough for me to have a reason to command Obama with that W key to put her down. There's a paparazzi man, some Scooty boys, and just a short segment of French, or I guess Texan, liquidation, we'll say, in the subway. And then eventually, Barack makes it to Kanye, who has determined he will be live streaming his face and thoughts as content for the rest of eternity. And not only would some consider that to be hell on Earth, but it is also considered hell on Uranus. Because the Kanye Brain Tumor channel is connected to some of the most powerful satellites known to man, the signal is being intercepted by Uranus and its alien inhabitants, who, after being exposed to it, have determined humans to be revolting and worthy of eradication. Why they thought humans were anything else before this moment is beyond me. In order to eliminate the signal and save the universe from the filth of humanity, the military of Uranus boards their iron fists and prepares to destroy the planet Earth and every last Homo sapien with it.
Pog.
Oh yeah, and there's this cyborg samurai that shows up. He doesn't really have a reason to be there and doesn't impact the plot in any way, so we're just gonna skip right over him. So Barry decides to save the Earth from the fistings of Uranus, and to do so he needs to find Kanye and pulverize him and his brain-dead broadcasted content into dust. Which is odd, because that makes the first arc of the story very complicated. Now I suppose those young French boys' deaths have some weight to them. That's a plus. So obviously Kanye is hiding out on a space station that looks exactly like his head, instead. So Obama boards a rocket and flies into space, giggling all the way there about the word Uranus, like some middle school boy. Upon arrival, it turns out Kanye cloned himself to do who knows what for who knows why, so now the only thing standing between Obama and Kanye is Kanye's. And of course, the clones of Kim, which are...
Donks are stone-cold assassins, just like they mom.
Nice. They shoot rancid clouds of death at you, and I'll leave it up to your interpretation as to what that is. Kanye's got a few other things in his employ up there. There's a robot with curves, and a whip, and a character whose depth goes no further than his name, the 400-pound hacker.
Ah, it's me, the 400-pound hacker. I'm gonna tear you apart.
Copious amounts of violence later, and we're treated once again with high amounts of violence to add to the Kanye liquidation taking place. Obama makes it to the cockpit, and as it turns out, the real Kanye is actually more so Marvel's MODOK. And more than that, he smells. Kanye now dead, the aliens from Uranus call off the fisting of Earth and make peace. All in a day's work for our ex-president. The gameplay. Barack's moveset, though basic, is exciting once you consider it could be implemented into Smash Bros.
I got the second.
His ultimate would obviously be the liquidation glasses and the dually SMGs. He's got a dash attack and punches for those basic attacks. Guns would be a special, obviously. His up smash would incorporate the drones. There's times where he has sort of a parry where he interrupts enemies with a QTE, quick time event. The execution animations would definitely be grabs. And this is why Obama is my #1 Dream Smash pick. Vote Obama for Smash. Comment #Obama for Smash, and I will heart your comment. But controlling Obama to use these moves was constantly frustrating me. It's clear the game was meant to be played with a gamepad because they were not optimized for keyboard. They have your right hand on arrow keys and the left hand on the home row, which is fine if done correctly, but for some reason, the Drone Strike ultimate is on the S key, which is right between your range attack on the D key and your basic attack on the A key. My brain just couldn't wrap around that for some reason, so I keep wasting the Drone Strike.
Fine.
I could go on, but just no, overall it feels like there's no thought that went into the keyboard controls. In the game, you travel through various screens of copy-pasta enemies with your very basic moveset and a few combos executed through button mashing, i.e. punch twice, do a range attack to pull out a shotgun, 3 punches, and a range attack pulls out an SMG, and etc. Some of the enemies don't get stunned on hits from you, but you'll get stunned on hits from them, so they're tricky, but most enemies you can just plow right on through. Occasionally, the game will go down into a slow-mo, and you'll be gifted with an execution-style takedown of an enemy, which made me lose my mind the first time I saw it, and actually every other time I saw it.
Execution. Barack, this is brutal. That's just brutal. There's nobody even there. What are you doing?
There's some items you can pick up on some screens that will give you instant kills, and that varies the gameplay slightly. You have health, which you can gain back in large quantities by smoking insecticide.
Insecticide.
Hitting enemies recharges an energy meter, which is used to call in drone strikes, killing all enemies on screen. Rinse and repeat for a little over 45 minutes, and that's the whole game.
That's the whole game, people.
But I wouldn't call it so much a game as it is an add-on to a game. If the amount of lore entry is anything to go off of, there's 3 times as much game in Shaq Fu 2, which I may or may not return to in the future. If it's just 3 to 5 hours of the same stuff from Barack Fu, could break me. The conclusion. Barack Fu had 2 things going for it. Knowing when to quit, i.e. at the 45-minute mark, and creating an Obama character and story that had the humor appeal of, man, Obama would never say that.
Harambe.
He wouldn't execute someone like that. Oh, funny moment. Big juxtaposition, humorous. I've enjoyed beat-em-up side-scrollers in the past, but this didn't really scratch that genre's itch for me. There is a combo system in place, but you can't juggle guys. Some enemies carry through their attack animation after being hit, which combined with the stiff controls left me feeling like the game was fighting against its own systems, let alone myself. And while some of the writing and animations had me smirking, there was still some genuine cringe gluing it all together. Overall, I can't help but think Barack Fu was one of those what-if moments the developers must have had at the office that was made into a reality. And while some of it works, and while I applaud making something this ridiculous, it's not something to give much praise. If you find Shaq Fu 2 for an extremely low price, or free in my case, and have 45 minutes of time to kill and you like side-scroll beat-em-ups or wacky stories, maybe give it a try. I can't rate the entirety of Shaq Fu 2, but for Barack Fu, I'm calling it as a low-end, off-brand title. Not entirely bad enough to be considered generic, but not really great either. Thank you for joining me in this video, especially if you made it this far. Consider becoming a connoisseur and supporting the channel by helping us reach 15 subscribers. I thank all current connoisseurs for your support. Okay, thanks, and goodbye.
Well, I think I have to start. I have to start with this. Obviously, may induce labor.